Hey guys, welcome back. Today I thought I'd dive into a question I get asked a lot about how to protect your energy field. Protecting your space is certainly a important aspect of starting to recognize your own energy versus everyone else. And so creating some form of separation between you and everyone else is super important to kind of learn how you feel and you operate versus people that maybe are affecting your field and you've been sort of reading that energy thinking that it's you. I guess an example could be that you are out in public somewhere and perhaps there's somebody that feels angry or threatening or just this really intense energy and you can sort of feel it in your body. And if you're wanting to create some form of separation between you and that person, you can just create a visual of like a bubble around your space. You can bring in a color and use the color to kind of protect your energy so you can feel your own stuff and not have to feel that other person's stuff. You have to really get honest with yourself and figure out if you're creating a boundary out of a place of fear versus just wanting to create some form of separation from more of like a neutral emotion. Because what can happen is that when you first start to play around with this and you feel like you're being like maybe threatened or something from somebody else's energy, you can accidentally give it invitations into your field by putting up a wall from a place of fear or worry. So it's kind of hard to put into language, but you'll notice that if you approach something with any level of fear, you accidentally magnetize that to you. So let's say, with the same analogy, you're out somewhere, you feel someone's angry, and you go,
"Oh my god, I have to put up a wall."
And so that might accidentally give that person like an opening in your energy field from your own fear that they then get to throw their energy into. And so a lot of this is happening subconsciously. It's something that they're feeling so intensely and they're trying to figure out how to heal it within themselves. And so they either throw it at you because they want you to kind of deal with it, or they just simply don't know what to do with this intensity that they're feeling. But I'm just bringing a little bit of a perspective to catch yourself if you're coming from more of a fear-based energy, or if you're just saying, okay, what happens if I create a layer of separation between me and somebody who isn't threatening or who isn't angry? Maybe they are somebody I enjoy being with, but what if I just start to create that level of separation all the time? And just so I can sense who I am and what my feelings are and what's my energy. And so as you start to play with this tool in more neutral spaces, then when you do come into contact with somebody, maybe in the grocery store or outside somewhere in public, and they're really intense or angry or upset, or maybe they're in grief, or whatever it is that you are just simply not wanting to like filter into your body because it doesn't belong to you, then when you put that layer of protection around, it's coming from a more neutral place because you do it all the time. So what I recommend to people when they ask me this question is that when you go into a form of protecting your field, notice if you're doing it only in times when you feel like you're in danger or there's reaction in your body that's like,
"Ah, oh my god, no."
And so that is human. That's normal for us to kind of have that reaction, but we have to just take notice and accountability that that's where we're coming from, so we can start to notice the difference if maybe we can bring some more neutrality to that, and then notice when you put the protection up that it works better. So we accidentally magnetize things into our space when we come from a level of fear or resistance. So the resistance energy accidentally opens up doorways for you to get more of that. The best way to protect yourself from anybody else's energy is to just start somewhere where it's not a big deal and you're not super worried and you're kind of just playing, because that's a much higher vibration to be operating from. And then when things really are threatening and you use the tool, you're coming from that already grounded vibration, so it just is much more effective. You're less likely to actually let that person into your space. One of the schools that I went to taught how to use like a giant rose or a lei of roses or a rose bush and just have it wrap all the way around your aura, like top and bottom. Imagine your aura is like an egg shape. And so you can just play with that. You can decide, you know, oh, this feels fun to play with today, and maybe next time you do it a little bit differently. So allow the visual just take shape of something that feels good to you, and just notice when you play with it if certain, you know, colors feel different, or how, you know, your protection worked for some things. Maybe it felt like other times you did feel somebody else's energy. And so you can kind of just play with your own intuition and notice, well, how did that get into my space? Am I matching it somehow? Was I coming from a fear or a worry? It's not to bring you to a reflection of punishment for yourself, like,
Oh, I let that person's energy in.
but it's more like, oh, interesting, I noticed that I had my protection up and I still felt a little bit of that person's energy in my heart. Breathe and just notice what comes up when I ask myself why that happened. And then you have an opportunity to clear something in your space that's allowing people to filter through that. So it becomes more of a learning and an exploration, in addition to playing with your own energy field and learning how to protect yourself from things that really don't belong to you. The protection won't always be super effective for many reasons that have to do with your own energy field, what you as a spirit are trying to let yourself know that the body is holding on to, whether it be mentally, emotionally, physically, astrally. So there's so many layers to who you are and the reasons why things happen. So it's never really one specific thing that I could give you in this video. It's more about you learning how to read yourself in those moments and start to clear some of that energy, so that way you can move forward and notice, oh, well, look, it didn't happen this time, or oh, look, it happened with this person and not that person, or you just start to be more self-reflective in that way. I hope that resonates. I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, then take it or leave it. I'm just here giving my own experience of what I've encountered as far as playing with these tools, and it's kind of hard to put language to it because everybody's really different. But I do know that every time I let myself get into like a freak out state and I try to protect myself, it doesn't really feel like it works, and I notice all kinds of people's energy in my space. So I've learned from my own experience that it's better to just operate from a space of more neutrality, more ease, less control, more like, okay, what happens if I just create this level of a bubble around me all the time, not because I'm really trying to resist everything, but just because I'm trying to learn about myself. So that's a much softer, graceful, gentler, you know, intention than saying,
I need to protect myself from the world and everyone's out to get me.
you know. So just notice your belief systems behind your tools. So I hope that helps, and thanks for tuning in. And if you're interested in more information along these lines, then check out the next video. Bye.
I can't talk.
What is happening?
Oh!
Let's start over.